Hello everyone and welcome to another enlightening episode of the Career Talks by Council Co. As you know, we cover on a large variety of topics, be it your children's well-being and welfare, or be it careers and things that they can pursue to achieve their dreams. Today we have and with us somebody who will really touch upon something which is not generally talked about. It is the neurodivergence in children and its impact on them and their well-being. So today we have with us Ms. Tejal Karia, who will be shedding light on the neurodivergent world. So Tejal, before we begin, can you please, I would really like to thank you for covering this topic for us, as well as I'm sure the audience would like to know a little bit more about you and what you do.
Good morning and thank you for having me here. Thank you Hemangi for inviting me here firstly, because it's a very good space to be in and to talk about a topic which has really been dear to my heart. It is about the neurodivergent world. Okay, so firstly introducing myself, I'm Tejal Karia, the founder at Wise Talks. I'm a clinical psychologist and have been practicing in this field since 2009. I have been attached to schools, corporates, and have been doing solo sessions, group sessions. I practice at Andheri, Vilepale and Bandra. So I have my cabin spaces in all these areas. That's a little about me. And coming back to the neurodivergent world that you are saying. So what is a neurodivergent world? Well, just as two fingerprints cannot be same or identical, in the same way two brains cannot work similarly. They cannot be same. So the children whom we label generally. So what has happened? Because so now of course there is a lot of awareness that has come in, but when there was no awareness, we used to just label our children. This labeling has now cut down to by doing a lot of introspection and finding out what is the difficulty that a child is facing, doing some tests, and going through a lot of procedures and helping them to come out and helping the parents especially to know what is the challenge that this child is going through.
Okay. So there is one crucial question that comes to my mind is, as you said that, we generally label a lot of people, or even in schools they say, oh, your child is hyperactive, he has ADHD. Oh, terms that are used very loosely, but really greatly impact the child as well as a parent. So how do you know that your child is neurodivergent? Okay. Is it important to get it tested? If so, why?
Okay. So firstly, I would want to address this term as neurodivergent. What do we mean and what does this umbrella cover? So in 1990s, Jude Singer, she currently is at Australia, at Brisbane. She is the one who has coined this term as neurodivergent. When she was very young and when she moved to Brisbane with her family, maybe she was 5 or 6, she saw some odd behavior in her mother. She saw that the mother used to react to situation where a reaction was not needed. She saw other symptoms like her mother not making eye contact and many other things. So that's how and then when she became a mother, she became more observant, where she observed that her own daughter, when children in the school were playing football, the daughter used to play football but with leaves. She would go in the corner and kick the leaves. And she then felt that yes, something is different. She went ahead and did a little more research on this. She went to the Autistic Society and she found out different things about it. And when she put two and two together, she also realized that she herself is on the spectrum. So that's how the coin of neurodivergent has come into being. Again, what is this umbrella covering? So this umbrella covers autistic children, so autism, ADHD and learning disability. So now there are 4 types of learning disabilities that will come under this umbrella. That could be dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia and dyspraxia. So these 6 are the neurodivergent areas which are covered under this umbrella. Yeah.
Okay, so if you say that people who suffer from any other genetic defects which lead them to be different, is that also covered in neurodivergent, the term neurodivergency?
Okay, so the term divergency itself says that their brains are wired differently. Okay, so any other genetic issue can also come under this umbrella, but depending, now see, now there is an awareness as to we have sections for each disability, or areas which we are not able to cover under certain topics. So yes, you may say that they may also come under neurodivergence, but because we are talking here about children and about schools, that is why I spoke more about autism, about ADHD, and about learning disability, because these are the areas where parents really need help today. It is very difficult for them to identify as to, don't we often hear parents saying that bahut masti karta hai, the child is doing too much, is very naughty, wo hyperactive hai, and they label it. So can we label them this easily? So then again, a child who may not be making an eye contact, or maybe staying a little separately, or not talking to the point as needed, there a parent may not accept that he could be on the spectrum to be an autistic child, but will say, nahi, mera bachcha introvert hai. Yeah, so that is why these terms which are coined need to be specified very well, and there has to be awareness about it, where parents need to know what all this is, and then they can be taken forward.
So, as you rightly said, that the child might be on a spectrum, but they label him as an introvert. Or maybe the child is actually introverted, and some people say that, okay, your child is on the spectrum.
Yes.
Could be the other side of the coin.
Yes, it's both the ways.
Right?
Yeah.
Which makes it very difficult for the parent to understand ki ho kya raha hai, what's happening. Which is why I feel that testing comes into play.
Right.
Now, when you say testing, it's generally assumed that there is some problem. That is why I'm putting my child for a test. But what is the importance of testing? Why? What are the benefits of testing?
Okay.
And where should one get done the test? Because I think the centers are mushrooming left, right, and center.
Yes. Yes.
So, what should a parent keep in mind?
So when it comes to testing, for autism, you can start testing a child at 2 years of age. Currently, I'm giving you a right age when you can test a child. I will give you into the details about how to go about, where to go, and why you should go to that particular place for testing. So for autism, it is done at 2 to 3 years of age. For learning disability, when the child is in second to grade 4, that is when you also start noticing, and the school also starts observing that there is something different about the child, and the child should get into testing. For ADHD, again, 2 to 4 years of age, you can start, look into the symptoms, you can read about it, you can take some professional help, seek help, and see whether you need to go ahead and do the testing. Whereas coming to your next question as to where should the testing be done and why it should be done with that particular person. When the child is at school, when the school notices, see, many times it happens that the parents are unable to notice learning disability or ADHD especially, because for every child, every parent, the child is special. They are the best children on the world, on this universe. So when they start going to school, and when the teacher notices, she may bring it to the notice of the headmistress or the principal or the school counselor. Your school counselor plays a very important role, because a school counselor intervenes. So she does not do the testing, but she intervenes, she meets the parents, she checks the child's written work, she goes to the teachers, she finds out what are the limitations that the child is going through. She may meet her classmates, ask a little here and there about the child's perspective, and how the child is behaving in a particular way, why is the child behaving like that. And that is when she would formulate a letter, which is then stamped by the school, by the principal or the headmistress or whoever's in their hierarchy. Mostly it's always the principal, because the principal's stamp is very much needed if this letter has to go further ahead. So once she formulates this letter, then it is advisable to go to a government hospital to do the screening and testing. Of course, there are many centers now doing this screening and testing, and nothing against them, because they all have RCI, that is Rehabilitation Council of India. They have all RCI certified testers, the clinicians or psychologists who do the testing work. But there is a little twist over here, because when your child passes grade 10 and has to go to a regular college, SSC college, supposing for 11th and 12th, HSC college, I'm so sorry over here, when they have to go to 11th and 12th to an HSC college, So there only a government certified what do you say, a certification, a government certificate is applicable.
Okay.
That is accepted more easily than the private institute certificate.
Right.
So till the time that the child is in school, you may, because you know what happens, the procedure at government hospital takes a little longer time. Okay, it's like 3.5 months minimum. I know this because I often send children, I give letters to children to help them to go and get it tested. So that is a long procedure, and sometimes it happens that children are small, or maybe the child has come to the grade 10th and needs to get it urgent, because for board exams you need to register the child by July or August end for their board exams. So there are many nitty-gritties due to which sometimes you have to get them done at the private clinic, but for that time being it is okay. But if you want to go ahead in HSC college, that is 11th and 12th, then you need a government certified certification. Right. If you are going to an IB or an IGCSE for your 11th and 12th grade, then it is okay to go to an RCI registered clinician and get your testing done. So that's how the procedure goes. Again, going to one more very important point is that you can go to Nair Hospital, Sion Hospital or KEM Hospital. All these three hospitals do issue certificates which are accepted by the boards. So I am aware of these three because I generally send my students here, and when I say I issue letters, I want to add a statement over here that I work with RN Podar School, which is a CBSE school in Mumbai, and it is located at Santa Cruz. I work with Beer ma'am and Suman ma'am over there, and it is an inclusive school. So that is why I am so much aware, because now I have been with them for 8 years. So the in and out of what has to be done, if a child has to be certified, if the child has to be tested, or an informal testing, because that is where I play a role. I am a school counselor with them for 8 years. That is where I play a role of doing an informal testing at the school level, then issuing a certificate or a letter, sorry, not a certificate, issuing a letter which has Suman ma'am and Beer ma'am's permission, and then they go ahead and do it with the government hospital. We generally send them to Sion, KEM or Nair.
Right.
Though parents come and ask us, is there any easier way to do the certification, a little early, because the government hospitals, they take 3.5 months, which is really a very tedious job for parents. They call on Saturdays. Of course, this is a very much necessity, but knowing that today's time, how times are changing and how both the parents have been working, so they do go to private clinicians. But then by the end, if you want to get into Maharashtra board colleges, that is for 11th and 12th, you need a government hospital certification.
Right. So maybe this is the rule in Maharashtra, or each state might be having. So it's something that parents need to keep in mind if their child tests positive for any neurodivergency. Having said that, when you say there's an inclusive school, I think many schools right now are becoming inclusive.
Yes.
But the children do face struggle, because obviously they go to a support room or they require extra support, and because of which they are really bullied or spoken to about in a different manner. And what can parents or children or the school, bar say, do to support these children who are already having a difficulty because they somewhere realize that I'm different? So what can be done? But being a psychologist, I know that there might be a few techniques or things that schools and parents can do.
Before I answer this, I want to add one statement. When we were talking about government hospitals, so it is not necessary that if a school issues a certificate that that the child needs to be tested, that the government will 100% give you the certificate that yes, they are tested positive. It could happen that the tests that they use, which are government certified, of course, that they may say that the child does not have any challenge. So it is very important for a parent not to get scared that that the child will be labeled. So this is something which I wanted to add, because many times parents do get scared that अभी government hospital में गए labeling हो जाएगा. ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है. There could be misunderstandings even at the school level, and we may feel that yes, the child may fall into that criteria because we want to help the child. But the government hospital, when they test it, it could be possible that the child is not on that spectrum.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So going to your next question as to how can the school and the parents support them. Most of the schools are sensitized with this. So firstly, it is important that your child goes to an inclusive school where even the specially abled children are accepted and they are taken care of. The teachers are sensitized, there are remedial educators, there are school counselors, there are psychologists on the panel who would guide how to rightly take ahead the child. And I can proudly say that my school, which I work for, RN Podar, is an inclusive school. So we have children, on the spectrum. We have children who suffer from learning disability, and we sensitize our teachers. It is very important for any school who's having a special, differently abled child. So we don't call them disabled, we call them differently abled. Okay, so if a child is differently able, it is very important for a school that to maintain a little privacy for that child. It is not necessary that they should be given special papers during exams. So some schools give and some don't. So they are called as remedial papers. Some schools do not give a remedial paper and some schools give. Each school has their own policy which cannot be forced upon. But yes, an extra support is already always given to the parents, to the teachers. So firstly, it is very important for the parents to disclose to the school that this is something that my child is going through, a challenge, and accepting it. Because everyone today is there to help you out. There's so much awareness everywhere. There is no ignorance now. Everyone is aware that something like that is happening and we need to help these children who are going through a challenge. And again, let me put you here. When we say that they are not into a normal category, who knows, they may be thinking we are not normal. Isn't
Right,
it?
true.
For them, so there is no definition for normal. There is no definition for right and wrong. It is just that they are differently abled and they have so many strength which needs to be channelized right. They can be given, of course, a little leniency like checking their papers, giving them little extra classes by teachers after school hours, or if they have an afternoon shift, it can be during the morning hours, or calling them extra a little on the Saturday. All these provisions can be done by the school, and at board levels also there are a lot of good provisions. So in case your child is in the grade 10th and has to give board exams, so there are very good provisions that are provided by board, the CBSE board, ICSE board, with an SSE board. They can be given a writer. They have freedom to drop 2 subjects. So many times children opt, to drop out science or mathematics because that's something, a challenge for them. Or they may also drop out a language. So in boards, it is very flexible. You can drop out 2 subjects. If you are having still more challenges and want to drop out more, then you have to take up an additional subject that is given on the board website. Like CBSE has these additional subjects like drawing, home science, then some other thing like painting, music. You may take up those easy subjects also. And they can be given a scribe to write in case they have a handwriting issue also,
Right.
or they are not able to write down, their speed is slow. So many other facilities like this are given at school levels also for grade 10th for board
Right.
exams. Yeah.
Right. So, Tejal, that does answer a part of my question. But another very important part of this question is that how are the students, or what is the need for their peers, other students, to be sensitized? So yes, as the parent, I am already sensitive to my child. As a school, I put my best foot forward. But they face a lot of bullying. And because I have some students like that, I realize the impact it has on them. So even if the school is giving them the necessary
Yes,
infrastructure,
right, yeah.
and the parents are supporting them, it's the peer pressure that leads to huge emotional meltdowns in these children, and it impacts their ability to see themselves as somebody important, unique, or confident.
Right.
So how important it is for children to be sensitive, or for parents to inculcate into their children that you have to be sensitive to each one and you need to look at their strengths rather than honing about the weaknesses. This
Okay.
might seem a little out of topic, but I think this is a need of the hour because we are raising that generation.
Right. And firstly, it's not out of the topic, it is very much in the topic and very much a necessity to talk about. So how to sensitize? So teachers, they would be sensitive because again, every teacher is a mother from within or a father. If it's a male teacher, it's a father from within that has love for every child. When it comes to children, we often see a lot of bullying that happens, in such cases where the children are weak. So this year again, a very important role of the school counselor come in, where she sensitized the children also through life skill activities. Like we often have life skills at our school where we do many different activities on bullying or on acceptance, accepting each child, accepting yourself, accepting your flaws first, then looking at others' flaws. So children are sensitized. We can have a buddy system, like making a child who is very much equipped of a buddy to this child who is suffering or struggling to things, and making that child also feel empowered at the same time, not making this child feel a little lower about himself or herself. Of course, through life skills, having various topics which we can sensitize the children. This is something which can be done at every school level.
Right, right. Coming back to another thing that you said previously, that parents should share the diagnosis with the school.
Correct.
So that the right measures can be taken to help the child.
Right.
But not all schools are that sensitive while dealing with it. So when do you think that a parent should communicate to a school, and what should be communicated to ensure that the right environment is created?
Okay.
Because many people know they have done it, but somehow
the reluctance
comes in,
yes.
Right? Because they might probably have seen certain kind of behavior or maybe an offhanded comment. So when should parents disclose? What should be disclosed and how it should be disclosed?
It's very difficult for every mother, isn't it? For every father, isn't it? To tell the world that yes, this is something that I'm going through. My child has a challenge and he's not at par with other children. When it comes to school, most of the schools are today sensitized. Though you asked me a question that, sometimes a school may also not be that sensitive. But yes, today there is a lot of sensitivity at most of the schools. Most of the schools are inclusive. Some are not, which is bad luck, but maybe very soon they too would be having inclusivity. So that should not be a problem. But yes, it is very important to go and disclose as soon as you know as a parent that you find that there is something different, because there are so many benefits, though these benefits we are looking at the 10th grade board exams, but even before that. So primary sections generally have a remedial educator also. So the child can be, helped a little more. The child can be taught different ways how the child should handle himself, herself, how they should handle the world, outer world. So it is very important for the parents also to disclose. Firstly, it is very important how do you disclose to your own child. That is more important than going to the school. Then, so first it comes to how to disclose to your child, then to your family, and then to school. Okay, because it has to have a step-by-step acceptance. Very first, parent needs to accept that this is nothing wrong that has happened. It is no one's doing. Do not blame yourself. That is because of me that my poor child is, into the neurodivergent category. So do not stop blaming yourself first. You've been the best parent who could be there for your child. Secondly, it is very important at this stage, because you are already very sensitive in the sensitive zone, take a professional help. How to open it up to the child that, he is having this challenge and may need some additional support. Okay, because what happens when a parent tells a child may shatter down, may break down, may have a meltdown and may not be able to accept it in a right way. Same way here, it is very important to take professional help so that the professional breaks it down, bits and pieces to the child and makes the child understand that it's perfectly okay that you have been diagnosed this, and you can still carry on with your strengths and avoid your weaknesses. They can open up only as and when needed to the family or to friends, but with school it is very important that you share this information. First, accept it yourself. Stop blaming yourself that the child is like this, is into a neurodivergent category. It's because of you, because most of the times we see the parents suffer so much that it is really sad. Though it must be very easy for me to sit on this opposite side and give you this gyan, but it is very difficult for a parent to accept it. पर जो है सो है, अब या हम उस पे बैठ के रोते रहें या उसको लेके हम आगे बढ़े. The choice is 100% ours.
Okay, so I love that either you take it up as something that's gone wrong, or you just take it up as something that's there,
yes,
and I move ahead with it. So I have realized that children, even neurodivergent children or differently abled children have been blessed with certain strengths. Could be creativity, could be extreme intelligence at some point of time, could be probably a very good skill. Okay. And we generally tend to see the weaknesses, not the strengths,
Yes.
and help him or her build it up.
So one thing you rightly said, we all focus on weaknesses. Why are we talking about the neurodivergent child? Look at ourselves also. What we don't have now, we're cribbing about that. What we have, उस पे हम देख नहीं रहे कि हमारे पास इतना कुछ है. तो अगर हम as an adult we are doing this as parents, what do we expect the child? Yeah. So firstly, acceptance. Yes, that this is what we have. This is what best God or the universe or whomever you believe in could give you. And let's take it ahead, right? So how do you identify? Firstly, look at the triggers. What are the triggers that triggers your child to behave in whatever particular way that the child does? Stop doing those triggers in front of your child. So try to avoid those triggers. So when they are away from the triggers, you'll see a different side of your child. When you see a different side of your child, you will recognize that these are the strengths that you can work on and take them ahead. Wouldn't that make sense?
That's awesome. And I think it's for all children.
Yes, it's
for everyone.
It's for us also. Yeah. We so many times focus on all our negatives,
So thank you so much, Tejal, for bringing this world to light for us.
Thank you, this lovely audience, whoever's watching it, and always be there to answer your queries. Thank you.